Hey everybody, Marty Sleva here alongside Mike Bithell. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you in the office.
It is a pleasure to be here. Hello.
Mike, this is your new game, Volume.
It is.
You made a game previously called Thomas Was Alone, which everyone on IGN loves.
Oh, that's very kind. Thank you.
So now, are we going to love this game as much?
I can't make any promises, but what I'm going to do is I'll show you a few levels, and we'll take it from there. We'll see. It's too early in the relationship to say whether or not...
to be using the L word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the sort of overhead gist of Volume?
So basically, it's kind of a traditional puzzle stealth game. So you can see it's got lots of notes from other older stealth games, very puzzly.
Yeah.
And it's basically very simple. Every level, you've got these gems you need to collect. You need to run around the level, picking them up, and avoiding the bad guys. Once you've filled your cash bar, which is in the top right there, you can get out, you can leave. And what we do is we just mix that up basically and play with different levels. So this is a very early level, kind of very simple, just basically got, well, no gadgets, no interactions in the world. It's really just about staying out of the vision cones and weaving your way through the level.
So we're noticing the story in the bottom corner. The character's named Loxley. Is this inspired by Robin Hood?
It is. It is. It's a futuristic retelling of Robin Hood. So you play as Rob Loxley, who's this kid who essentially kind of breaks into a military training device called the Volume, and starts using it to broadcast crimes to the population, basically showing the world how to rob from the rich and keep for themselves.
Perfect. So was there any way you could have been interacting with these enemies on this level?
Right now there are a few. So I've got a whistle there that I can press, which will... Oh, that's the one I missed. There we go. So I'm just going to go get that. Yeah, so I can whistle to get their attention if I want to. Obviously, that's probably not in my best interest. And what I'll show you after we've I'm just going to get to the exit here. What I'll show you next will be a few levels that have some cool gadgets in for the specific purpose of interacting with guards. So it's really about crowd control. You can never really kill an enemy, but what you can do is you can control them quite cleverly. So I'm just going to show you a gadget we've shown a couple of times, but it's really coming along, which is the Bugle, which is basically a noisemaker.
Awesome. So we saw the menus there, download community. Are we making levels? Are we sharing levels? What's the deal with that?
Yep, so the game comes with an editor. It's something I can't show today because the UI is in an interesting state. This is actually, I should say, the UI is currently being redesigned, so all of this will change a bit before the game comes out. But yeah, basically you build levels in exactly the same tools we do, really straightforward, easy kind of Lego set basically is the thinking. And then yeah, you can share them online with your friends and with the internet at large.
So this tool you're using is sort of like it's like a beacon that you throw and then eventually it makes a noise?
Yep, it's a noisemaker. So you launch this, it bounces off surfaces, and then you can control when it goes off.
Very cool.
Which means it's a great crowd control tool. So you're playing with the AIs here. This is where the game starts to get interesting, is you're actively messing with them. And interrupting their kind of their structure. So with the last level I showed you, basically you're working around them, but most of the game is spent like this, kind of toying with them and playing with their functionality.
Totally.
So here you can see that he's guarding this. This is a teleporter. So if I use this, I'm going to jump through to that next room, and he'll see me. So I'm going to have to just distract him off of that point.
Is it an instant failure?
Oh, hello.
Well, that was perfect timing.
I messed up. Yeah.
I was going to ask if it was an instant failure.
So it's an instant failure if you don't go away. When an enemy sees you, you have a few seconds. It depends on the enemy type. But you have a brief moment that you can get out of their vision cone. So it's not instant failure, and actually there are definitely levels that kind of require you to cleverly
get spotted for a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna be playing. Like I say, it's all about crowd control. So you're gonna be actively trying to be spotted at certain times to get around problems. So I'm just gonna sneak around there, and I can get out.
So it's obviously, sort of the first thing that comes to mind when we see this are the VR missions from the original Metal Gear Solid. Was that something going into it that, was that something you were a big fan of?
I mean, I'm a massive Metal Gear fan. What was interesting with the VR, because obviously, yes, there's definitely kind of visual similarities. So those are force fields that you can deactivate in order to open up bits of the level, and walls that you can jump over, but you can't jump over a wall if it's blocked by a force field, so you have to work around here.
Gotcha.
So yeah, with the VR thing, it's something that we didn't sit down and go, let's make something that kind of harkens back to the VR missions, but in the process of making a kind of a graphically minimalist like stealth game, that's kind of my thing. Thomas Was Alone, similar kind of idea, just paring things down.
Absolutely.
we kind of, I think we found a lot of similar solutions, which is cool. So I picked up a new gadget here, which is the Figment, which is basically a fake U that you can launch. So you launch it in a similar way to the Bugle that we had earlier, but here I'm just going to use that to distract him.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's going to chase that guy, and I'm going to make my way.
Perfect. What were those little nodes? Those like
these
three
things
little
here.
spires?
So that's checkpointing. So that's really important to us. That basically with stealth. So if I go through that, so I did go through that earlier. If I'm then shot, I'm going to reset to that location. Yeah. It's very important with stealth that you get that cycle moving quickly.
Totally.
Because I don't.
Oh, that's perfect. And there was no load time. It was just
no load time. Right, no, that's. I think we got a load time down to a couple hundred milliseconds, which for me that's acceptable. That was the line for us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if at any moment you're caught in a situation you can't get out of, you've got the reset button that you can kind of immediately go.
That's awesome.
Hop yourself back to that checkpoint.
Super cool.
So you don't have to. There's always that thing when I'm playing games where I have to like kill myself so that I can get the.
And you're like, well, where?
Oh, I'm stupid there. I was stupid. I bumped into him. I ran straight into him. And so so we wanted to avoid that. We didn't want to have to force you to do that, especially as you don't have any weapons. We don't, if you give the player a grenade, they're going to use that grenade to kill themselves and get out of the level.
They're throw it at their foot.
But exactly. But we don't have that, so we were like, okay, we'll put in a nice little reset to make that easier.
We're currently playing on a PC. Obviously, you've been on stage with Sony at events. Can you talk about consoles that you're looking to release on?
Yeah, so it's going to launch on PS4 and Vita first. I think it plays really great on those consoles. I'm actually playing it with a DualShock right now. Proof. There you go.
He is not lying.
And so it's launching on those. Then a month later, we're going to release the PC version. So there's a little bit of exclusivity there. Just basically to give it a chance on console to do its thing.
Totally.
And then it's after that. It's after it's out on PC and PlayStation, we'll see from there.
Totally. Thomas Was Alone made its way to a lot of different
pretty much everything.
Platforms.
So here we're setting off the domino chain there of those force fields. So that's going to unlock an area of the level we couldn't get to before, which is quite funny. Just let him chase off there.
So obviously, there's in the levels you guys created, there's the story elements. Can you add story elements to user-created levels, or are they mostly like puzzles?
So what we have voiceover storytelling, which we use, which is what you saw, the kind of dialogue playing out, and that'll play over both our levels, and if you download levels, it'll play over those levels as well. We kind of integrate everything across. What you have in terms of if you want to tell your own stories, you can place text boxes in the level.
Oh, that's great.
Which allow you to kind of, if you want to kind of embed a little bit of data into the world, you've got the option to do that, which was important to us.
That's super cool. And so you said the PS4 and the Vita versions are going to release a month before PC. Do you have anything locked down yet? Do you know when we'll be having volume in our hands?
I do, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
Is the honest answer there.
Okay.
So it's early days. Well, no, it's not actually. We're coming together.
I saw this game a year ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been developing it now for about 2 years, so it's ready. It's nearly ready. So soon is all we can say. Sooner rather than later, you're going to be playing this game in 2015.
Perfect. I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you.
We're going to have a lot more on Volume and all the rad indies here at GDC and at PAX East. And so for everything else, Volume, you're already in the right place, IGN.com.